You know what I don't get, Bird? Is why I felt the need to just go live by myself all of a sudden. No warning. Why not just shoot a video? It's the same thing. Nobody's going to watch it till the morning. Because it's still going to end up being a version of Saturday morning with G.I. Crow, right? Yeah. I suppose. Bored, Crow. Bored, Crusty. Bored and I'm having fun painting. I got this whole jar of interesting new topics to talk about. Some new show ideas, and there's some exciting stuff going on, and I just don't want to wait till the real Saturday morning. Oh, look who shows up. Turkish Murphy. I guess Turkish Murphy gets some insights and some new stuff. Hey, buddy. Hey, thanks for showing up. I don't expect people to stick around or nothing like that. And I'm probably still going to do tomorrow morning, but some stuff happened today. Some cool stuff. Some not cool stuff, too. But I'm working on Rock and Roll V2 today. So this is more like the Great Rock and Roll Swindle Live. But I'm also testing some stuff with the stuff I've been doing. There's been also a sinister motive, and I'm actually going to try it while we're going live and see if anything comes in. If I got somebody coming in going, stop! But just name the song, Turk. Welding up a new bike in the shop. We'll crank this song and tell me which one it is. And then sing along with it. And just, if you see me ducking off camera, it's because I started something and didn't realize I had this thing going, so I got to deal with this thing as well. Popeye needs his spinach. But I'm working on rock and roll. And I'm treating this like a tutorial from my buddy Jay and his wife at the same time. Like, Jay is Hush Hangouts. And he was one of the 3 finalists for that contest I did, man. And it was a conflict of interest because he lives like 5 minutes, 10 minutes away from me, right? So he was stuck on Wolf Mother for the last couple of days. Yeah, so I'm seeing what flags what when you're doing stuff. Like I want to kind of, when this is done, this stream, I'll see what kind of warnings come up, right? Because I think that's enough of the song, but I'm going to keep it going. I want to play the whole thing. But you notice there's no singing, right? Trying something. I did it on the last one, too. That was kind of, I was goofing off talking about a bar story of what it looks like in the base town when I started off in 97 on the last video. That's the little puppet theater I was doing. Hang on, this thing's still going. I got to see if it's out yet. That just doesn't want to go out. Weird. So yeah, I did that goofy little video, but you'll notice I was playing Let's Go Crazy by Symbol Thing Rockstar that passed away. And it was a karaoke version. So I got no copyrights on that video. So I can tell. I'm gonna double check, but I didn't see one there. So while that's kind of just going in the background, I'll have a little looky-loo. And this is relevant to, I'm a week into my battle procedure for my Power of the Force. Hashtag me the Power of the Force thing that me and 30 some odd people are doing. And let's go manage videos, have a look. Yeah, I got 0 copyright warnings on that at all. I'm looking at it. It was not at all flagged. I've had 1 copyright warning in the last month, and that was over the what to do when you don't get the vamp kind of video, the one about the van, right? My clutch van, and I gotta get it down anyways because my clutch and rock and roll van that I made got a copyright warning in the music that I think I had a music or too many Hasbro. No, it was the music. I got a copyright warning that they were looking at it, this video for this band, and that while they looked at it, they deemed me not guilty. So who else joined us here? Turkish Murphy's here. There's someone else here, but they're probably just rolling in and out, right? Your money is on me, Turkish Murphy. Yeah, you keep having that statement come up, and I'm wondering what do you mean what I think you mean when you say your money's on me? Because you got to remember with severe ADHD, my weird perspective, when you say that, I feel like you're betting on something, and then you're going to a casino and saying Crow gave me these numbers through subtle texts inside his messages. I'm kidding. Like, no, I'm really glad you're betting on me, man. But I wouldn't know what we're betting on, bud. So I'm in no rush to do nothing here. There, finally went out that burning stick of medicine there. Oh, I'm gonna do good. Thanks, man. Hey, yeah, I got 2 in the chat, myself included. Probably that's probably what that's counting as. But I'm gonna turn off that karaoke because it's kind of annoying me now. But yeah, I'm kind of doing the formatting part of my my Power of the Force video to get that ready because yeah, I'm going on right before Punk Monday Ramblings, man. Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks, buddy. Yeah, so I'm kind of just putting this there in case I'm late tomorrow and I don't do a Saturday. Guys, I'm still going to do a live Saturday, but it's going to be a shorter one because I got to get caught up on a few things and get the rest of my battle procedure done on 2 big projects. And I've already mentioned one of them. It's hashtag May the Power of the Force. And the other one is Grievance's prize for winning the 350 contest. Congratulations again, Grievance. And yeah, you got a hold of me, I got a hold of you, but I saw the pictures of the figures you were showing me, and now your character is starting to really make a lot more sense. I see the collection going on there, and I'm thinking to myself, oh okay, yeah. And JM, I got you. We can work this out absolutely, but right now I'm in my battle procedure part of it, so I want to have that discussion with him. And hey, we got a Neil Lacurto in the chat. Neil, are you subscribed to my channel? I wasn't sure. I think I've seen you in chats before. Your name seems familiar. Are you 3D guy, 3D print base guy, headquarters guy? Is that you? You know, I'm really bad with names. For 25 plus years, everybody had their last name sitting on their shirt. So I got lazy about it and just, yeah, I wasn't hey. But yeah, if you, Neil, I feel like, are you the Iron Ken and Enhancer supplier there? Yeah, that's it. That's right. Oh, what an honor to have you in there, man. I am so sorry that I'm so bad with names. There was a reason I kept calling Pop Blender 3-star Draw's cousin for like 4 videos. Because I couldn't remember Pop Blender because the guy who sold me my Jody shooter and my breaker and coil here in Ottawa, he's got a YouTube channel called Swiss Pop. So I was getting them mixed up. So I didn't want to embarrass myself and upset somebody by confusing their names. So thanks for verifying that was you. And I wasn't completely crazy at 50 and senile like I've been claiming. Yeah, so that headquarters is phenomenal, man. Like that was actually really inspiring. I gotta let you know, actually. If I come across it in the draw here, and it's not a draw like a contest, it's a draw as I'm trying a new way of organizing things in my lives and in my chats, where in every few minutes, like every little bit, I'll break it up with a topic draw and I'll change the topic. But I'll take this one out after if I draw it. But the Watchtower is actually, because of you, Neil, I'm gonna work on some another small, middle-sized, easy to do terrain piece to kind of go with walls. Like they can't all be walls, right? They can't all be forests, and snow gets boring to do. And I should do a desert landscape, but right now there's one thing I really get excited about, and that's the idea of that modernized Joe line, guys, right? So I go back to what we had as kids. There we go. Yeah, keep up with the demand. Oh, that must have. Did that go through the roof after Aaron and then double down after Iron? Am I picturing that right? Like, did you go from maybe like having, I'm just giving a number so people picture the math. Like, say you had 2 orders of it before Aaron went live. Then all of a sudden you had 8 orders of it, or no, maybe 4 orders of it, and then Ken made it 8. Is that kind of what it looked like, or was it way more than that, Neil? I'm curious. That's a really interesting time to ask you this. I have that opportunity. I kind of am curious what that looked like for you, because I was curious with Loki Wartooth. It was the same thing. We've been plugging them and plugging them and plugging them, and I've always been curious, like, did this affect sales? And I think Loki has said that it has to some degree. I just don't know if I have a picture of what this does for these guys when, you know, YouTube toy tuber guys send those shout outs and refer business. Yeah, it's blowing up. Oh, excellent. Aaron's going to be really happy to hear that. And Iron Ken, you know, I give Iron Ken like these backslide, like, man, he's so negative. Man, I don't know if I could be like that, man. But credit where credit is due, man. I don't care what your opinions are of Iron Ken. They don't have to be good. They don't have to be bad. You recognize a good move when a good move is there. And Iron Ken got a hold of your prints. And he gave all the credit to where it all came from. There was zero gatekeeping at all, and that was because he respected where he had the opportunity to get his hands on your fine product, right? And that was through my friend Aaron, the toy enhancer, and his meeting you. I think it was at Joe Fest, right? Or Joe? No, Jolanta. Was it? It was Jolanta, I think. So that's awesome. I'm so glad that did a lot for you there. Well, Aaron was my personal one. Yeah, he traded you a bunch of stuff, he said. He talked to me that day. I thought at first it was for one thing, and now it sounds like it was for not one thing, but one concept of what he was saying. And I think that was before you guys had that final barter or something. And then when he told me a bunch of figs, I was like, yeah, a bunch of figs for sure. But it was your personal one, and you've made 2 more, and you have 10 on order. Hey, man. I don't know if you're able to put a link to that in the chat, but if you can, feel free. If not, you can always try to send that to me if you want through my Insta or my Facebook Messenger and whatnot. I could easily help tell guys like, hey man, if you're looking for something different for yourself, because you know a lot of my content is about backgrounds, right? So I will always build my own backgrounds because I'm an old Warhammer hands-on guy, scratch building and all that stuff that's converted into larger because I got older, my hands got worse. But 3D printing, I've always had a mad respect for. Hey, 3-star draw there. And yeah, hey man, I just did this spontaneous there, and Kiwi Customs, you can find me on Messenger and Facebook too. You know, it's not so much on Facebook. I'm Ryan Michaelius Torn on Facebook, but no, on Messenger you can find me on my Insta there. I'm retired. I wanted to let you know this about the more recent videos that I've been doing. At DS77, man, if you want to jump on because you're bored tonight too or something, feel free. If not, man, just enjoy the evening chill. I know you've been a busy cat. I'm just painting and rambling. But I do have a couple of new things I'm going to be talking about that I came up with last night, yesterday, and gave it some quick effort, thought, and then decided to go with it, and it's paying off. It's paying off very well. So yeah. So Kiwi Customs, I had you in mind as well when I put that out there. But where did that leave off? Okay. I'll address that in the room really quickly. The last offer I put out there, guys, is lives. I was thinking about, you know, I've got my own Saturday morning with GI Crow kind of going on every now and then. I closed it on the background discussion. That was what I meant to do. Close it on the background discussion. That's what I do. I do have 3D printers, but I have never set them up. There, it's closed. But yeah, I'm going to carry on with my Saturday morning with GI Crow because that's fun. That just seems traditional GI Joe fun, right? But there's stuff that's been going on this last week that's been kind of inspiring me to think of other ways that I can put that forward. I told you I didn't want the shout outs to other channels to be this rehearsed script that I just blurt out like, "Hey guys, don't forget to watch Shane and me and Crimson Commander," and you know, it becomes this routine. It loses all meaning and impact when somebody like that, I find, right? It's not that other people are losing their meaning and impact, because I know every single one of us means it, right? We're trying to cheer each other on, and we're really supporting well as a community, toy tubers, right? But Kiwi Customs, I know you're on the other side of the planet. Like you're in a different time zone, and I just wanted you to know I'm retired, so I have this really open schedule. So when I say I want to do these lives with, you know, people on the other side of the continent, I was thinking of you, Shark Guys, any of these guys that are looking for maybe a Canadian perspective on the toy line or something different. People are starting to figure out grows different. But yeah, this whole live offer was originally designed and is primarily designed for congratulating a few of our guys, because, and the community a little bit. Yeah, New Zealand, that was right. I thought I wasn't going to say Australia this time. I was like, you're the one in New Zealand. Shark Guys is Australian, if I remember right? And hey, Riley Cross, yeah, hey, there's I think you're another Ottawa resident that I actually haven't met in person. Jay, I met in person, and that's why the contest suddenly changed to 2 instead of 3, because I didn't realize he was going to make the final 3. But yeah, he lives like 5 minutes away from me, so I went and visited him before the contest. We're good. But yeah, that live offer was more designed to congratulate some people and recognize kind of this community is doing something really interesting. I won't say it's powerful. It's not a goddamn movement here, okay? And I'm not going to blow sunshine up the asses of people that don't need it. I'm blowing sunshine where there's, you know, a little bit of things clouded over and we don't see it right. But I want to just take my perspective and help people see what kind of this cool thing that's going on, and let you guys know why I came up with doing the live thing that I'm doing, that I mentioned on my last Rock and Roll Swindle or whatever it was, their video. I'm putting it out there that I want to do lives with the guys that are just brand new. So same time toys, Woody 222, Cobra Crimson Commander, anybody, absolutely anybody that's trying to get their foothold in the toy community, wishes there was a roadmap to such things, but are figuring it out. You're figuring it out, right? You've stuck around long enough to get over that 25, 35 hump to realize that this is a long game, not a quick hand, right? And there's a whole bunch of questions that come up every now and then from one new person that they don't know how to ask a more experienced person, right? Because they're afraid it's going to be seen as a stupid question, or they're just not going to be able to respond right if the guy surprises them with a counter question or something, right? Like I've heard different kinds of apprehensions for these things, right? So, did Triple C show up? Hey, there it is, Triple C. So Triple C is one of the guys I have talked to just in passing about this. I have talked to Woody about it, and he's very positive about it. And I've talked to some person that I'm not going to name because they might very well be my first episode. I've already got things rolling on this. Holy crap, I've got 11 in the chat, and I just jumped on. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. So yeah, while I work on this, because I gotta keep my hands busy or else I'll just sway in front of you like Stevie Wonder, but I can see it, so there's no excuse. Yeah, I've had another content creator whose channel is toy tubing, and it's not a G.I. Joe kind of channel. It's a multiple toy kind of channel. So we can relate our subject matter, no problems, but I'm going to leave him as a mystery till I do the very first one, and I'm getting that coordinated with him probably tomorrow morning. I wanted to get my questions ready for him so I kind of know, and I wanted to visit his site over my morning coffee routine, the nice one, and then kind of know, get a feel for it, right? And then we can go from there. But the idea was to put guys on a better footing and not make them do their first, perhaps, dry run on their own channel, where that's in that scroll menu or anything like that. Or maybe just they're not sure how they'd react to another person. Well, hell, man, I'm a hell of a nice guy. Ask Aaron, ask 3-star, ask the chat. I'm a nice guy, right? My time to be a mean guy was long past. And I know you guys can't probably picture me ever being stern or pissed off enough to fucking scare somebody or anything like that. But, I'm really good at shifting perspectives, right? Really good. So when it was time to turn all that crap off, I was ready. Okay. Because I wasn't happy with how good I got at it. Right. So I'd rather be the nice guy trying to work through a problem than a mean guy that gets frustrated with a problem. Unfortunately, when you're a parent, you can't use that same logic. Right. Here we got. Okay, so to recap, I see Turkish Murphy here. I see Triple C. I see Riley. I see Kiwi. I see 3-star. And there's probably some guys I haven't seen. My chat's kind of getting weird here. Roman. Hey, Jumper. No, you didn't miss me. I just got started. I'm just kicking off a little impromptu paint jam session. What's that? You've thrown about 2 shovels. I love this because I can picture DS saying this in his voice, right? So I'm gonna check and see if you've sent nothing, but yeah, DS, he's thrown 2 full shovelfuls of dirt. Is that what it says? Over my mean streak, it's buried but not deep. Yeah, right. Once you've had to kind of go full tilt for whatever reason, and you've gotten used to that being part of your daily job sometimes in some situations, it's so easy to quickly access it when you're losing your patience with everything else, right? It's just like, oh, don't set me off. I'm going to feel bad. You're going to feel way worse. Don't do it. And it's just now anytime I'm starting to get a little bit irritated about something, if I come over and I start doing the toy tubing stuff or working on a Joe or looking at a collection, anything like that, I feel no compulsion to get like that, right? And I think that's probably the same for a lot of guys, right? So, yeah, makes sense. That's good. Yeah, okay. Everybody seems to understand what we're saying. And here we go. Question, Crow. And for everyone, was it scary going live the first time? And see, this is the kind of thing that I want this to address. It depends, man. It really depends on the type of person you are, right? I'm not going to sit there and say I made it look easy just because I was a little bit comfortable with it. I wasn't good. I don't think I'm good at live. I think I'm just comfortable with it because I'm used to improvising anytime a situation does something I'm not in control of in the military. You have to be max flex, right? That is our motto. It's like you have to adapt, or you're ineffective if you can't adapt, right? So rather than just get stagnated and go, well, this isn't working. What now? Oh God, oh God, oh God. I just adapt and see which way the thing's flowing and go, okay, well, what happens if I go that way then? How can I get back with the flow and be comfortable with it, right? So I taught a lot of leadership courses. I taught a lot, actually. How many? I've taught over probably 350 First Nations kids between the ages of like 15 and 24 how to be soldiers enough to get through a basic training qualification. And this is some kids coming straight out of like the hood reservations, the ghettos and things like that. Like if you guys picture, I know a lot of you guys are in the States, but if you picture some of your rougher neighborhood urban youth and apply that to a First Nations reserve that has a very complex, ever debated situation, there's some of these kids, they're like one shot out, right? I've taught those guys for 4 years back to back, 50 candidates per section, so 100, so almost 400 kids actually. I guess that's the more realistic number. So I don't get scared about it, Triple C, but at the same time, I fully understand why people do. Okay, I'll get it to it in a second there, and I'll visit this point, okay? So just to close out with it, why people get scared is a lot of people are tired of public or are scared of public speaking, and there's a lot of inner monologue that they can't even define. It's bound in a lot of psychology and insecurities about how one is presenting themselves to a group of strangers. So of course that's going to get triggered and alive, right? And when you're teaching a guy to go from corporal to master corporal to sergeant, you have to teach them to put that voice where it belongs and just be the guy in charge, right? And it doesn't matter if you don't have the confidence, that max flex mentality that's driven through our head throughout the leadership course and your experience in the combat arms. That max flex also leads to great sayings like embrace the suck, fake it till you make it, all that other stuff, right? So I'm not going to say I have a lot of key wisdom to share if I help you out with this, but I can get you over being scared about it. And then you can decide on it, whether it's for you from a better perspective than one of personal fears and insecurities. Does that make sense? I want to let that go for a bit. Kiwi, oh, for me, hell yeah. But I love going on live streams, be a channel for someone else's channel. Yeah, man. It's just one of those things. Yours is a shit show, so yeah, I get it. We have a few guys that we're working with that their internet spotty, things like that. It's always just one of those things. Hell, one of our bigger guys out here, Punk, his mouse batteries keep dropping, his dog keeps jumping in, but we're all good with it, right? I'm just gonna jump a little bit ahead in the chat, and I'm gonna draw a topic out of my little thing there to change this from some repetitive stuff. Hey, any of you guys Kit Bash classified? You're looking for spider wolf antennas. Anyone knows? Yeah, you want to know how to make one right now? Okay. So there's a couple of ways you can approach it, but if you're looking for just some substitute ones, I'll address that quick. I'm looking for a wolf spider antenna. If anyone has one, please let me know. Okay, Falcone has one. If you're going to buy a Falcone, I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, you can easily be happier probably trading off his backpack to someone else, because the LT, well, you can carry the backpack. It's already a terrible figure. You're going to do a head swap, upgrade that bitch. But if you wanted to make your own, Neil, get a hold of myself or Aaron, and I can show you a technique I use that's either using melted sprue, or I can show you using pressed brass, and I can show you just kind of how that antenna is actually folded, and that's where I'm going with it. Those antennas, it's a military fold that they kind of got right with that. I'm just seeing if I had my wolf spider out here, and I don't. But yeah, I mean, unless you're looking for just the piece, to buy just the piece, I don't know how to do that outside of maybe eBay. But 3D printers, I wouldn't know. Maybe if Loki hops in the chat, he can speak to it. Maybe if he's making it out of the same stuff as the caps, it would work. But if it was just a standard 3D filament, it'd be probably brittle. Hang on, wow, I'm way behind. Sergeants, oh no, man, no. What do you mean you shouldn't say this? No, it's fine. Like I said, and this is another thing. Like I said, why I want to do these unplugged dry runs kind of things with you. I'm gonna pick one topic out of here to flow into. But Triple C, it's so that these questions can get addressed in some way. Maybe someone shows up in the chat from another channel that can answer it more gracefully. You have that opportunity to hear it from multiple people, one place, in an atmosphere that's meant to just be about finding answers. I'm going to tell you something, buddy. I say it over and over again. Aaron and 3-Star have heard me say this over and over again. And I'm not going to act like I know everything, but I know how to find out the answer if I need it. I know where to access this stuff if I need to find out where to access it. But the only stupid question is the one you don't ask, man. If you're trying to make this work, ask your question, right? Take your chances, run your risks. But yeah, you're doing what I'm doing. I do one takes, man. Like one takes. You're editing. You're doing stuff like that, you guys. That's great for you. I just don't care to. It's not the show I'm trying to do, I guess. I don't know if it's just I don't care. I'm lazy. I'm scared to do editing. I'm too frustrated and stubborn. I don't know. But I'm comfortable with my show the way it is right now. I evolve it in different ways, I suppose. But I've filmed things over and over again before too, bud. There's 1,000 videos on my camera, which is my phone that I'm pointing at right now, that I've never released because I was just like, man, that didn't work out. I refilmed them. No, it didn't work out. Didn't work out, man. Didn't work out. Okay, Riley, this is good. I like this. This is relevant also, and it's coming from another Canadian. And I find that a lot of Americans kind of don't know much about us and our culture and how similar we actually are. It's crazy how I didn't learn anything about Indigenous history until I went to the program at Algonquin College. I'm familiar with Algonquin. I met some buddies from the Algonquin Regiment. What happened to that? There it is. Didn't know shit. Yeah. There we go. And Kiwi Customs is chiming in. That's for you, Triple C, but it's supporting what I'm saying, right? Like, yeah, man, we're all putting out what we're comfortable in doing. And if that means you have to edit the crap out of it to make it what you are comfortable for everybody else to see, good on you, right? But don't ever feel bad about it. Listen, if you're going to spend your time making your YouTube channel, turning it off, and then feeling bad about it, stop, pause, man. Just pause. Take a couple of days, rethink it, and go, wait, is that actually what I wanted this for? Right? That's all I can say, man, because yeah, don't ever feel bad about editing, reshooting, and all that. You can feel frustrated with it, but don't feel bad about it. Yeah. And it's Triple C. I mean, I'm not going to treat that like the elephant in the room. I mean, clearly, I'm just glad you're with us, man. You went through some crap when you were 4 that really left you with a challenge, and you've more than overcome that challenge. You're surpassing that challenge. Keep giving yourself a proper pat on the back, and read the writing on the wall that we've written for you. You know, this is a friendly community. You're welcome here, buddy. You don't ever have to apologize for trying, right? Just when you're trying, and if it doesn't work, don't get defeated. Just find out, hey, how come that didn't work, and do I understand it, right? That's what I do. Nothing I'm doing, not everything I'm doing is working, right? It's not. A lot of stuff I do doesn't work, but then I go, okay, well, why? Huh? Yeah, that makes sense. All right, well, move on. Don't get down about it. And I'm not saying you're down about things, because I don't think you are. I think you're very excited. I think you're a very positive guy. I'm just trying to explain, like, these are traps that I see some people going into. You can see when someone goes into a depression spiral, right? So, hey, Lawrence Howard is here. That's awesome. Right on. And yeah, man, it's great to have you guys here. Holy crap, I got 14 in the chat on this, okay? And yeah, no, guys, yeah, I keep saying I'm going to pick up the brush. You know who else I'm working on while I'm doing this? I'm going to segue into this just so we do talk a little bit about Joe, because it is a Joe channel. I'm going to do my end state tribute to the Skybound Duke. And I'm going to put him in a direction that it could have gone. In just the way that they were treating the Duke character. So if anyone's reading Skybound Duke, that is a background character. That the rock and roll swindle part is that Duke is trying to keep creeping into my Duke, my rock and roll videos, as he somehow has just done, because rock and roll is who I'm trying to shine a spotlight on, because it means something to me a lot. It's cool that it means something to Cobra Crimson Commander on a different level. He's got a video where he explains his connection to Joe, and yeah, I was like, oh wow, yeah, that's coincidental. I'm doing this for similar reasons, right? But yeah, Duke is everywhere right now, right? Everybody loves this. Did everybody get this? Did everybody get the new retro Duke? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, Turk. There you go, buddy. When you're unapologetic and I'm not saying fearless, but just not hung up on the concern of somebody having a negative opinion here and there. Yeah, you know, live is a lot easier because it's expected to be improvised, spontaneous. You can have structure and you can sit to structure and do all that, but yeah, man, it's supposed to be a bit more relaxed, isn't it? Isn't it? So yeah. No, okay. I'm sorry. I just read there's this path of flow in the discussion. So what I read was a very positive statement from Kiwi says what I like about Crimson Cobra Commander is that you are keeping it real, mate. And of course, you know that's the Netherlands coming through. Like sorry, but that's a positive positive statement. But then when I read the very last one, I hear Cobra Crimson Commander come back with here 3-star support it with you're doing great, and then I hear no, and I was like, wait a minute, that's positive. Don't get negative against positive. I was like, no, he doesn't have the retro Duke, right? Okay, yeah. So right, different perspectives, guys. But yeah, no, everything is about Duke right now. It's almost like Vamp Spam, but with a retro character that really triggered something. Like everybody picked this up and pulled it into the package and quietly looked around and was like, I didn't want anybody to see my dick move right now, but this is amazing, right? Everybody had this positive review on it, and I was never a big fan. I wouldn't say I didn't like him or wasn't a fan per se, but I wasn't a big fan of Duke. I mean, I liked a long list of other Joes before Duke, but I had him and I thought he was cool for a commander and all that. Yeah. Oh man, really? No Rakondo for you? Ouch, bro. Ouch. Rakondo was my favorite of the three so far. I haven't got Scarlet yet, but I mean, Duke is cool, but Rakondo's man, Recon. But yeah, the Duke thing, you know, this figure, I can see why the fans of Duke were triple down happy on this thing. Like, it is a superior Duke to whatever is in the line so far. Where is he? You heard it. Yes, you. Come here. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. So this is the last Tiger Force Duke I have in my possession, guys. Aaron sent me a few. They're all ripped apart, primed, ready to go on a few conversions as I had them in poly bags for such. Oh, I gotta get caught up in the chat here. Let me just go. Oh wow. Yeah, okay. And so I will go back to the retro discussion. But yeah, that Duke there is my last one. I've got him set aside for Tiger Force, but I'm not convinced he's going to make it because really, you've heard me say it about Snake Eyes before, and I'm kind of getting ready to say it about Roadblock. Is just like I only need one, eh? Like I know the guy. I don't care what he dresses all the time. I didn't buy 15 Princess Leia's to play with. I needed one or two. Right. When we get into revisions of characters in the line, every time I see a new version of Duke, whether it be retro card or classified or Tiger Force or whatever, or Roadblock or just Snake Eyes, I'm always like, okay, so who gets bumped back to next week? Who gets bumped back to next year because this character had to come out, right? And it's not because I don't like the character. It's just that they had such a you've got a lot of years of Joe to cover, and you've got multiple generations of Joe fans ready to shell out some money right now. Yet you seem comfortable as a company, as Hasbro, to keep doubling down on the same hand. And it's like watching a really bad blackjack player going, yeah, you're testing that luck limited, and you don't even notice that you're losing. You don't even notice you're losing your chips, right? Like you think you're breaking even or you're doing good, but you haven't seen the erosive of the hands you did lose. You're just paying attention to the ones you want. It's kind of my opinion on the repaints, but so yeah, long story short, I'm doing a different Duke. Sorry guys. You want every version of them, man? Yeah, well, I mean, Roadblock isn't in there for me yet as far as the custom, just because I have a line. I have a guy I did business with through Facebook garage sale when I was getting some back catalog. The gentleman that hooked me up with those ninjas is also, it looks like, ready to hook me up very soon, if not whenever I'm ready. A heavy artillery Roadblock, which I always wanted. And I was like, with the Tiger Force one coming, which I do like the look of that so far, I was like, oh, go figure. As soon as I get access to the Roadblock, I was hunting for the entire year because I do like my Roadblock. I have that urban one, like the black and white shirt with the sick ass beard and glasses. Close protection Roadblock, as I see it. But yeah, I finally get a line on that heavy artillery, and then the Tiger Force one's coming, so I'm buying 2 Roadblocks. and then criticizing Snake Eyes for the number of repaints, right? But Duke, I'm going to do my own Dirty Duke because Dirty Duke, I'm just going to refer to him as Hauser because I kind of like that Skybound comic Duke. I only follow it through Billy in Action Comics because I like the way Billy reads comics and I can paint while I'm listening. But as cool as this Duke is, this is the old Duke, the traditional Duke, the purest love. All of us, our little boys are screaming out, playtime, I got Duke. The backpack sucks, we know. We want that jump pack suck, but we got it. But I am a fan of it, and I will do my review on that. And that's really about as much as I want those two Dukes in the picture. But I've been thinking my Airborne's been looking a little lonely on the shelf. You'll notice with G.I. Joe, the focus has been a lot of primarily infantry, special agents, and then the odd naval guy, right? But a lot of infantry. Holy crap! And ninjas, so many ninjas. But in drops Airborne is like, hello, is anybody there? Support. Right? It's the same thing I had the issue with Snow Job. So, Legend Series, hey buddy. Yeah, I didn't give you any warning. I'm not ready yet. No, I'm gonna be getting my stuff together with you. I just kind of wanted to show guys something that are here, and it's cool that you're here and others. I'm just trying to get caught up in the chat. But yeah, Airborne on my shelf looks a little lonely. So if I do an in-state Duke, which I'm doing, I wanted to pay attention to that scene in Duke #1 and the fact that it opens with Duke flying a jet, right? Duke is air capable. Duke's very versatile. Sergeant Hauser is very versatile. Operative Hauser is very versatile. So having a different Duke on the shelf, sure, why not? I have the Duke I want to represent Duke, right? I got Retro Duke. Were you? Oh, Riley, yeah, because you're here in Ottawa. Yeah, listen, man, you and I should talk there because he's got some other stuff on the go, and I told him I I would ask around. It's stuff I'm not interested in, but perhaps you and I, if you hit me up on Insta or Gmail, I can share with you some of the things I think he's looking to offload, and maybe I can help him out too. That'd be great. But yeah, there, you guys keep it up in the chat. Rick Husky, hi. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, and if you have been here, I apologize for not taking the proper notice. But welcome to my channel. I'm just kind of filling these guys in. I was just talking about why I'm doing these new live unplugged dry runs for some of the newer guys, but I was also saying there's some named channels that we know that I put that out to say, hey, come on over, and it doesn't matter if they have few subscribers like most of us or one of us, but they're more well known. Or, I'm talking about guys like Air the Toy and Answer, or other guys like Punk, that Allison, any of those guys, the offer's there, of course, but they don't need the practice, right? They're used to it. But it was more designed for the guys that want to practice, get their feet wet. But I was joking. I was saying we can make games when I have people coming in that are, bigger names that people recognize. We can play a guess who this is kind of thing before they come on. It's always got to end with a show and tell, right? But yeah, my Duke has been working in the background, but I'm doing an updated V2 rock and roll. I got to get back to that. I want to learn a little bit more about Rick Husky. So I see the sidebar discussion. I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to be a part of it, but I do see something about Neil leaving, and is it Neil's birthday? Happy born day, Neil. If it is, happy birthday, Neil. And this was the part, Rick getting to know him a little bit, just got into custom classified. We love Canada there, and I'm assuming that's North Carolina. And hey, great, thanks, man. Yeah, what a rabbit hole you're about to jump down if you if you are just getting into classified. Now, my spinning compass take on this, guys, is as I'm trying to work on rock and roll a little bit, what I got to do is I'm going to be trying to highlight the lighter camouflage against the darker camouflage with an intermediate brown, and just kind of tracing my rings. And when I was showing this, and this is for my buddy Jay, who is visually impaired and enjoys kind of like tutorials he can pause and understand. And for some reason, he doesn't mind my channel. He's not a big fan of all the channels, but he's also my figure daddy. Gives me some really good access and has a lot of patience with me, and that's good. But I do that for him. But I was going to say, I'm going to show him how I picked my my camouflage, and then I'll come check on the chat in a little bit. I got to move this thing along. I'm not going to be here all night. So when I picked my camouflage, yeah, there's the camouflage I wore for years. The Canadian digital CAD pat just bothers me. Like it's all right. Other countries have cooler CAD pat that's more fun to paint. Canadian digital CAD pat takes a lot of symmetry plus randomness. And it has these tiny little boundaries and constrictions in its brush because Canadian CAD pat is like digital, so it's squares, it's pixels, right? And I hate pixels because, yeah, I mean, like you can make small with brush, but making them that's when you're getting into cut airbrush tape or stencils and screens and things like that. It's just not where I'm at in my challenge, right? But so what I'm doing is I'm going through Google instead, and I'm finding different kind of popular CAD pat, right? The nice thing about doing a V2 tribute, not an actual V2, conversion, is that I've been telling guys, instinct. That's my reason to do it. It gives me freedom of movement, right? When I do that, I picture guys that might need to access some of their uniform just through walking into a Cabela's or a local hunting store and replacing the shirts that they can't get back to base to replace with the new clothes, right? That's something that would represent their uniformity, or just new uniforms that are based on modern designs. Like they did a modern design to rock and roll, and I think it worked out well with this, right? Like that dry fit wicking sweat kind of textured shirt that came into a lot of popularity. Not that clothes became popular in deployments, but in Afghanistan and Iraq and the Africa, other arid regions, Somalia, these shirts were gold, right? Because they helped you stay cooler, thinner, right? All right. So, right, guys, we love you guys too. Hey, okay, Riley, thanks. I don't have Insta currently saving more money in space. Yeah, buddy. No, that's all good. Yeah, no, it's I think this guy's also going to introduce me to a Valaverse figure or two, and he has other lines that I never heard of. So I was just kind of like going, well, yeah, I don't know how into collectors you are, but there's some stuff, and he's a toy photographer, and he's done with these things, and it's time to replenish his stock. So he's being fair about prices with me, and I was just like, yeah, I'll see if I know anybody, but no pressure there, Riley. Yeah. So the intermediate brown I kind of wanted to go with I always kind of mix my air and my solids a little bit, just kind of extend the solids. So I'm going to put, I've been using dark earth and pale sand to kind of make my pale color, and there's been a couple of coats over that. And those are just random patterns inspired by one that I found on Google that I thought would work for this character. And that is this one, the center top, that brown and beige kind of offset. I'm just doing kind of a variant of that, and I'm not restricting myself to be exact because that's ridiculous. Why confine yourself, right? So now it's time for me to kind of separate that boundary and give it a little bit more care and depth. So you're going to use your finest tip brush for this, and I am going to darken that. I'm going to add a bit of darker olive brown to that. Once I find that in my bottles, there's my black. So organized, so ready. Don't go back to the chat just yet, Crow, because if you do, you'll be 20 more minutes to get back to there. So I've got some brown because I'm almost out of that brown actually, and I'm just gonna put that on my wet palette. Sorry, I haven't turned the camera down there to you guys yet. It's still 13 in the chat, so maybe some of you fell asleep with the live going. That's probably the biggest favor somebody could do. Yeah, sorry, my camera angle only goes so far down, so I kind of got to tilt the stand at that point. So I'm going up because I care. There you go, guys. So I'll angle that more towards my table. I don't have fancy rigs and setups or anything yet. I guess I should invest in some things to make this a bit easier. But kind of just making sure the content's always there and it's at least quasi applicable to something somebody might need. So for this, when here's the light. Where's the good spot? Right there. What I'm going to do when I'm doing this is I'm not necessarily going to trace each part of it like making a coloring book reverse, like drawing the lines around the color. I'm going to actually step inside that lighter color and just work it outwards towards that darker brown. But I realized something. I'm using the wrong approach to this because I was going to use a medium brown, but I realized medium, it was much too dark. It'll contrast against that darker brown too little, and it'll just end up shrink that. So I'm going to switch it up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat on my brown collection a little bit. That sounds dirty. Let's just think. What's this saying? Is this a question? I'm sorry, guys. I can't always keep up with this, but I'll try. Hey, Crow, I'm assuming you prefer the realistic stuff of G.I. Joe or the sci-fi? That's a very good question, man. Well, see, you've got a bunch of good questions, right? You've asked a few before, right? So that is one of the advantages of talking to each other here, buddy. I tend to prefer the modern military touches that they've applied to the retro designs, and then appreciate maybe some of the thinking as to why they do that stuff. So what I want to go with, that's a nice little cream, eh? Yeah, let's do that. We're gonna try a different color for the shirt than what I had initially planned, and I'm gonna break up that design differently. But with the caveat of saying that Triple C is just that you have to also understand, right? Like with my I have competitive ADHD. It's actually very severe. I'm not overstating that when I say it, nor am I understating it. It's problematic to the point where I have to be medicated in order for me to avoid a lot of anger issues that stem from feeling out of place in something I'm not necessarily adjusting to. It's combined with some PTSD and whatnot. So when I say I prefer the modern stuff, it's because for 25 years, those were the rules I had to follow and play by. And that was the equipment and stuff I was used to seeing on a multinational level. No matter where I went in the world, I went with a bunch of military, either my army or the armies of allied nations. So when Joe came out and I had heard that they were modernizing it, that's what my brain said was the rule, right? Like, oh, it's got to be modernized. But you asked about the sci-fi stuff, and I don't think one really countermanded the other, right? The sci-fi stuff to me is something I equally respect because I don't know. I've talked about it the odd time in the show in the early days. Before I ever tried to be a soldier, before I was ever left with the option of being a soldier, let's call that, I really wanted to be a writer and perhaps an artist for Marvel Comics. I was a very passionate Marvel fan. When I left Joe, I go hard into things if I get passionate about it. You might have picked up on that at some point. I'm not sure where and what particular subject matter you might have picked up on it, but it happens. And that's actually one of the residual effects of, I guess, the way my thinking went undiagnosed. Because nobody could really tell me that it was wrong or right. I just thought everybody thought that way. You come up with your own established sense of rules of world. And if nobody argues it, you assume everybody knows it, right? And then when you find out later, no, they don't. But the thing about the sci-fi stuff is I have such a strong respect for the artistic properties and thought processes of artists and creators, be it a writer, a painter, a sculptor, a figure designer, or a comic book guy, that I can get behind any sci-fi comic like thing, right? But I am also a guy who needs to see the path of flow. If there's going to be a sci-fi to it, I kind of want it explained a little bit, or be a justifiable science fiction. And sometimes I'll do that. But sometimes I'll go, okay, well, I didn't get that concept. So to me, it's not realistic enough, right? You see, you're picking up what I'm laying down, right? It's a respect for all of it, but a preference for the one like you asked. Yeah, you guys can hit that like button. If you guys fall asleep on the like button too, I hope the algorithm detects that. So there's things I talk about when I'm doing these models that I keep kind of letting new conversion and painters go. So right off the bat, I don't like that tip. Jay, when you're doing this, you want the finest tip brush in your collection. And if it doesn't look kind of like maybe the size of 2 needle points or something like that, maybe get a fresher brush. I'm beginning to think I might need a fresher brush as I do this if I want it to turn out. But what I'm doing right now is instead of trying to F around with another brown lightning, all that other stuff, what's going on is I changed my mind and blame it on being colorblind or whatever. I'm actually going to use a different kind of flesh tone that I don't traditionally use on these guys. It was a dark flesh by a certain brand. I think they called it dark flesh. I just had the bottle in my hand, and I'm not overly worried about it. But using a dark flush instead of a brown, because rock and roll is going to have tan flush. I wonder if I can get away with that. We're going to find out. Yeah, there it is. Model color dark flush. So instead of using a medium to richer, thick brown, I'm going to offset the light and the dark with a flush and see what happens and how that looks on the shirt. All right. The model dictates. Oh, geez, thanks, Bobby. Yeah, just one of those things, right? Like, I didn't join the army because I was some noble guy. I joined the army because I was going to run out of choices soon. Marvel Comics did not work. I don't know if I ever closed that loop, but I never did work for Marvel. Weird, right? You probably thought I no. So I wound up in the army because I just couldn't stick with school and stuff like that. Didn't realize there was a reason for that and why I was deterred from it all. But as far as that, thank you for your service stuff. That's always appreciated and stuff like that. But I always kind of want to just grab people and go, okay, that's cool. You did it, but understand something. Most soldiers, like the ones that aren't really talking about their service a lot or are doing it the way I do it, I guess. They didn't do it for the thanks, and actually some people get really uncomfortable with that. There's a little running joke my buddies in Recce had, and it's always just like we got so used to saying it that when somebody doesn't, we're going to point it out and be like, "Thank me for my service," and we use it against each other when we're like purposely screwing each other over at work or something like that. Be like, yeah, man, I understand you don't want to go on the exercise away from your family for a month and a half. But here's the other thing. I need somebody in that advance party 2 weeks prior. So you're kind of getting your wish. You're going for a full 2 months. Thank me for my fucking service. Right. And that's the way it's delivered. So every time somebody does that, I just kind of want to reveal that to them. So Bobby, you have that revealed to keep that secret under your belt. But thank you so much for the sentiment and the friendship, guys. I really do appreciate it. Moving on the chat. Okay, so Rick, you came across the Rams, did you? That's great, man. I'm a little surprised that they kind of done that well. It was just great. I kind of forgot vehicle conversions do well. I don't get to do as many as I want to do. That's one of my problems is so many unfinished projects, hovercraft. But the Rams, if you like that Ram, you should also check out my buddy Woody Triple Deuce, my Blurman friend there down in the States. His Woody Triple Two, the action fig. The action fig addict or the fig addict, I believe. Sorry, but guys, you'll see him in all of our chats at every point. The boys can point you in the right direction. He Cobra Crimson Commander and Same Time Toys have been jumping up, passing the 50 mark, passing the 100 mark, passing 150. Some of our friends. And Woody did a Ram, and he called it the Crow Ram because he told me he did it because he saw my Rams and felt that way about it. But when I saw his, I was like, this is what we need, right? Less bitching about Night Force repaints. If you're going to complain about something, that's one thing. But if you're a guy who can complain about something, but you can also do something, go with that obligation of feeling like you should try and do something, at least for yourself, to balance it, right? Like if you think you can do a conversion of something because it's upsetting you how it's being done somewhere else, then make it a dare, right? And I didn't realize, but yeah, that's kind of what the Ram thing was. I like the Night Force Ram. I like the idea of having that dark motorcycle. When I did my Rams, it came down to an urban street Ram, which used gray and blacks and things like that. And the Desert Dispatch Rider Rams, the Ram Rats, right? So, but thank you very much for the praise on those. I am glad those videos are doing well. What was this? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Okay, just laughing at the chat. So there, back to this really quick. I did have an unfolded piece of paper. What was one of my jar brain topics I was going to talk about? Nope, I already talked about that. I can get rid of it. What's another one? So I have these so that I always have something to segue to, because it doesn't always have to be about my conversions. There's lots of other things. Vehicle substitutes, vehicle subscribers. Vehicle submarine. Yeah, Woody 222, if and when you find this video, if you're not here, and I don't blame you if you're not here. Okay, yeah, no problem, Turk. No problem at all, buddy. You're at 49, eh, buddy? One more and you're going to get there. Yeah, you're going to see that any minute, guys. And if you're somebody in the chat who has not yet subscribed to my friend, Cobra Crimson Commander, he's got his take on a lot of toys that they are quick little videos, but full packed of information, just the perfect balance of information, personal connection and a detachment, a determination to make sure that everything is delivered in a very natural progression and pattern. He structures his reviews very well, and he does that for a lot of lines. I mean, he's way better at it than I am sometimes. I'm telling you that right now. Just in that he keeps his flow and he keeps it very view friendly. Actually, if you've noticed that about Triple C's channel, is he keeps things view friendly, and he's got a diverse range of figures. So there's lots there for you to find out about on his channel. So put him at 50 tonight, guys, if someone there is able to do so. So yeah, let's the sub. If anyone has seen this in the background, got to go back to work. All right, buddy, you have a good one. Thanks for popping by and spending some time with us. All right, Lawrence, how to 3. Sorry, I guess I boomed out of the chat. Woody Crow's hunting you up. Oh, Woody is there. Oh, okay, good. There, sorry, maybe I just wasn't caught up in the chat. It's hard to balance on. Don't have a moderator. Pretty sure a moderator is a second computer screen, right? No. It's guys like Matt for Punk and things like that. And, Aaron and I have talked about that a little bit, but we just wouldn't know where to start with between me and him, 3-star, the idea of the moderator. Okay, Woody 222. I'm filling some voids in my Joe collection life that have been inspired by you son of a blurman. I know some things about Woody 222 that a few of us know about him because we pay attention to his channel. We are loyal subscribers and we watch his videos and we hear things in the chat and go, oh, really? Oh, for God's sakes. Like Woody Triple Deuce isn't exactly your normal Joe fan. Your normal Joe fan doesn't go to school and get raised in a town who but for legal purposes and watching it for these copyrights as I get ready for Power of the Force. But let's just say the town he grew up in rhymes with fuck it. And the normal Joe fan doesn't get home delivery a lot in the early 90s or late 80s. I mean, the normal Joe fan doesn't really get that, but I mean, some do. Some do. Some rich kids probably have direct, but not from the company into their classroom, right? So what is a different breed? It's a different breed, right? Congratulate everybody. This is something I wish I had done the other night when we were doing the backyard bar battlefield. I owed 3-star an apology because what we were talking about back live, for some reason, my subconscious or id said, well, it's been talked about on live. No, it was talked about in the studio. I don't think we ever address it on live. But 3-Star recently made a milestone somewhere, right? It was a big milestone for him, and this is a big milestone for Cobra Crimson Commander. So thanks very much for making that happen here tonight on a very spontaneous live. Do you have a nickname for the town I grew up as? Is in the bucket list? Okay. Yeah. So there we go, boys. Celebrate good times. It's a celebration. Fuck your couch. If anybody gets the reference, good. If not, oh, but yeah, Woody. Some of the things I know about him is what he knows, right? And so I'm going to make up some stuff, and I'm just going to go, you know what, Woody? Because me and Triple C were talking just now, I'm not overly worried about Joe Modern and Real when I tell you about this next project. I will just constantly be going, it's sci-fi, man. It's sci-fi. But I need Woody to make a call right here live. I had a whole video set aside for this, but I'm going to do it here live. Woody, I'm putting you on the spot, buddy, seeing as we're not sure when I'm ever going to get you in a studio and go live with you. But I have plans with a couple of you here. I love doing that. Just tell me right here in the comments, Woody. I'm going to do up a sub conversion because that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lair, I made that into a sub pen on a glass lit table that looks like water, like swampy water. And I want to have a submarine on the dry dock ready to go. It's a doable thing. And it's got just enough, and it's just going to be a quick and dirty display like the van was, really. Maybe with a little interior this time, that just little placement of bits and painted up. But what do I need to know? You're deciding it. Joe or Cobra, right? The sub pen's neutral. It's whatever display I need it to be, but that sub. Woody's deciding because Woody is my perfect sub. Subscribed and subs. I'm hungry. Sub? Yeah. All right, so Woody, you gotta let it all. Joe's. Oh, bro. Sweet. I was almost worried I had too many Joe projects, but that's gonna make me push on to the mean dogs a little bit more. Guys, you're gonna see me just go over here. It seems that this strange but cool thing is caught fire again. I gotta try and blow it out. But yeah, that'll be a background project that I'm working on. And then the Watchtower was another piece that I'm going to be working on. I was talking about earlier, and I got sidebarred. And that was because of the Neil and his G.I. Joe headquarters modular stuff. When I was thrift shopping, I came across a bunch of skateboard props for the kids' little skateboard thing that they do with their figures. What is it? It's a Tony Hawk toy, basically, and they had all these stackable skate stunts. And then I realized I had enough of these that when you stand them up, I now have the ability to build a respectable Joe Tower. And I'm going to look at building the other 80s first few wave kind of tributes to those sets to add to it, to show Lenny, like, yeah, there's way to there's terrain, and then there's what your fans want for terrain. And if you look at it, it wasn't as manipulative or anything like that. It was simple, and these are things that could have worked for Hasbro. I say I show Lenny like he watches my shit, but basically it's just showing other guys, man, if you want terrain, there's ways to accomplish it. And I've been showing you the whole time in the thrift stores and gold mine. You just have to think on it a bit. I'm a super fan of those too. Yeah, Woody likes his subs. He loves his subs, yo. Right? Sorry, I must have missed a part of that. Joe would have okay. Yeah, Cobra would have a funky shape. Okay, so Woody's sharing his logic in there because I guess there's a debate whether it should have been Joe or Cobra. Hang on, that thing's still burning. It's such a nice fire, though. Oh, I like white rabbits. Anyways, yeah, okay, Woody, thank you very much. I was going to put that in a video and just hope you watched it, but now that I
remembered you were in the chat. We just got that over with. Saving time, being efficient. Look at this community work. So for Duke, I'm just going to sidebar. I'm going to draw another topic really quick. Sorry, guys. If you guys have a question, I'm going to go right to the bottom of the chat while this debate sums up. Hang on. What up, bro? Hey, guys. Aaron's here. I don't know. I was bored, man, and I wanted to talk about this new live stuff I'm doing and paint some figures, right? So hey, this is awesome. 14 in the chat, and I know I rolled a dice today, and I said, "Crow, how many likes you want for your spontaneous live?" When you damn well know you didn't warn nobody, and I rolled a lucky number 6, right? So lucky number 6 is the number Grievance won the contest with. So, you know, stick with 6, it works, right? But I got this thing burning over here. I don't know why. I've been blowing on it and blowing on it. It won't go out. In fact, the smoke goes the other way. It's just weird. I think I'm blowing this out wrong. Anyways, guys, yeah. Where was I? I said I'd get to the bottom of the chance. Okay, so I said I was going to go to the bottom of the chat because I just wanted to give everybody a quick opportunity. One, to say hi to Legend Series, say hi to everybody that's joining us in the chat and that's been sticking us around. Congratulate Cobra Crimson Commander for hitting 50 subs in this spontaneous Friday night, Saturday morning with GI Crow crossover event. And yeah, I'm still going to probably go live at some point tomorrow, but it's probably going to be, you know, late in the morning, like 11:30 a.m. Or something like that. But does anybody have any questions right now? Was anybody pissed off about the contest? It's fine if you were. I mean, I'm not gonna. There we go. Here we go. Cobra Crimson Commander, right? You're just proving my point, buddy, about get yourself set up for live, and we'll do a dry run, and you can set the tone with some of these good questions, man. Do I prefer working on a female huck or male? Let me see if you clarified that a little bit. No, okay. Do I work on a female huck or male? I'm pretty sure you're asking if I'm like prefer working on a female character or a male one. Is that right? If it is, I can answer that. If it's working on a huck, I've never attempted a huck fin before. I don't know how to represent the color huckleberry. A female buck or a male buck. Okay. No. It depends. You know, the thing about the female thing, and sometimes when I worked on the last two, I thought, am I showing a preference to do female figures? And yeah, well, Jesus, that fire. It's almost out. Gotta fight fire with fire just to be sure. So yeah, no, if it's showing that, it's because G.I. Joe had so few female characters for one, right? Yeah, that's going to need a little while. We better just keep the wildlife away from that. I'll stand here and protect that fire. So yeah, they didn't have very many females. And then if you notice one thing, like the 80s, guys, I'm not woke. I'm not going to sit there and claim that I'm woke. I just try to be fair and I try to see a perspective. If I see that it's becoming a debate, I want to understand that debate before I sit there and say I have a position on it. I got a bit of a bias because my wife's kind of like the poster child for a lot of the modern woke debates, unfortunately, that were going on within, not just within the culture of the last 10 years, but within the military, right? It's one of our big hot button issues in the Army. Got to blow on that fire. You're getting too close to your lawn, sir. It's too close to your lawn. I don't want, you know how wildfires spread. Anyways, yeah, so my wife's Chinese Canadian, born Canadian, like she was born in Canada, but her Chinese family, and she is a very intelligent. It's called a preventative medicine technician, which is basically your health, your public health and safety kind of person that dictates, you know, like they take care of things like hearing protection and sound safety, readings, measurements, preventative measures, a lot of the routines and workplace safety guides out there in a lot of industry and healthcare and other things. My wife is one of the people that, that like her, like me and the lyrics to my song today. It's not you to cross her back. I read it all the time. It's great. It's a good read. It's a good read. But she's a very consummate professional that just retired. She retired at a much higher rank than me, right? But throughout our marriage for the last 20 some odd years of our career, she was always kind of trying to tell me there was this thing out there about the pay equity and the opportunities. And I was always like, well, that's within your establishment. Where I'm at, it all seems fine. I had a lot of females that I worked with, right? And I never felt like Joe reflected that well. So that's part of the modernization more than it's woke to me, is to work on more women in the military. And yes, there's some in the infantry. Do they want to stay in the infantry after a while? Man, nobody wants to stay in the infantry after a while for the most part, unless they're devoted to putting themselves through that life, right? A lot of people want to try and use the infantry to better themselves on some other scale and just have it be a chapter, Oh yeah, way down in the chat. No, it's not the save these as a woke conversation. I just want to make it clear there's a difference between being woke and being okay with talking about that subject and having a certain position on it, and not invite a gaslight. You just have to be clear. You don't consider it being woke, but you do consider it being fair, right? I think we can all agree. Neutral grounds are there. Anyways, let's go to this one. Whoa, fire. Oh, more about that fire. It just finally fizzled out. I don't feel like I was in full control of it. We'll check on that later, maybe after this. Rick, thank you for using that particular reference. I've been saying this to 3-Star and Aaron for a little while now. They can attest. That's exactly what I'm embracing about this whole channel concept, right? I mean, I'm not ignorant to some brutal truths about this channel. The lack of consideration to lighting sometimes, the lack of consideration to camera angles that others, figures constantly dropping that I make stupid jokes about rather than improve the situation that prevents that. Just being a complete ad hoc gun tape, spit and go kind of guy, and doing a channel like this. It is very Wayne's World. Did I think there was a market for it? Probably not. Kind of surprised this one sticks around. But it's comfortable as hell over here. Try it. Yeah. No, you're just wondering what thing. I'm wondering which is easier, the male or the female. Well, I mean, that's a good question again, Tripsy. It depends on what you're trying to approach with it, right? Each character has its own different challenges, and that question itself has a relevance depending on that character. I'm going to give you an example, Lifeline, right? I don't have it out here, so I'm not going to gloriously plug another conversion I did, but you guys remember my concept on Lifeline with that name itself, and the role of a medic was just too grand and too perfect for just one character to have it. I thought it should be a branch within Joe, much like Steel Corps Legion Trooper. There is a Lifeline. Hey man, me and Tiger Force are rolling out. You need a lifeline? Yeah, okay, send Sheen. Okay, send Cross. Okay, like multiple lifeline access. Because really every sub-team should have a medic attached to them, right? Yeah, everybody nod if you're following. Where's Aaron? Is he still here? You're just guys are just keeping our chat lively, and I appreciate that. So yeah, so the problems between the male and female characters do get a little stronger when you're doing a conversion for classified. One of the constraints I was talking about was in the 80s, women weren't really given a whole lot of roles that were believable in the military versus cartoon kind of setting, right? And you kind of saw the mentality it was given. You saw a prime example, actually, and I'm not doing this to poke anything at a very respected individual. I have amazing high levels of respect for every single person who ever put their fingers on a Joe product and had some responsibility for its inception and creation. But if you watch the Netflix series, and yes, I realize these things are edited and could be a loaded question. I don't know. But Netflix series did a special, The Toys That Made Us. I look forward to seeing more of those. And when they got to the one on Joe, there was a question, there was a quote by, and I'm not quoting it, I'm just giving you the overview. Ron Rudat was talking about a female character. And anytime he talks about CoverGirl, and, like, so I shouldn't say any time. The time he talked about CoverGirl, it was left in there. It was all about sex, 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 right? And taking a woman seriously in the 80s was something that men joked about. If you watch shows like Married with Children and other things like that. So if you understand where female characters got their opportunities in the toy line, you would look for a Lady J to show up somewhere, again, between when her first release was in the early 80s to somewhere in the 90s. You wouldn't find it again until it went after the 94 original line and changed properties, right? Another CoverGirl, again, after. Another Scarlet came to Ninja Force, and look at that. It was sexualized ninjutsu video game fodder, right? So a lot of considerations there. That's a rant I have about it, right? But you're like my personal G.I. Joe crazy neighbor. Yep, that'll work, boys. That'll work. All right. Like, it's fine, guys. I don't want to be one of those tubers that's gonna go, and now I'm pissed off about something that Hasbro's done, and now I'm disgusted with my line, and now these toys are worthless, and fuck it, I'm going to NECA, and screw this. This toy never has this problem. I mean, there's so many of us that are like that, and I know there's a room for that, because it's got its value, right? That's a warning to consumers not to buy a product that's crap. I get it. It's definitely value, right? But I just find, like, if you can instead just treat everything lightly, don't want to stress you out, and just have some fun, for God's sakes. Like, isn't that just, I know it's relaxing me a lot more than I thought it would. It's become a big part of me, right? Like, this is my day to day. I don't have to go to work because, sorry, honey, I'm busy doing silly little YouTube channels. Yojo? No, not tonight. No, Yojo. What about just the yoke? Maybe. Just the okay. Yeah, so working the rock and roll, like I said, clearly I can't seem to focus on doing both things at once, but I'll continue to try again, right, guys? I'll look for one more question, Rick. You found me first, Rick. I found you too. I found you too, brother. Not gonna cry on camera tonight. Oh, let's go. The Toys That Made Us is a great series. The movie one is actually too. It really is, eh? Like, I found them insightful. I found them perfect little brain candy when I was painting or drawing or doing stuff like that. The Ninja Turtle one broke my heart a little bit to know how that all just kind of went down. Like, not every story is a happy story when it comes to toys, is it? Is it rock and roll, you bitch? No, it's not, right? So, yeah, if you haven't watched that series, and 3 stars, absolutely right. It's got another follow-on series about the movies that made us in those generations. So it's all encompassing, right? Like-minded individuals in the art form of Netflix. It's actually a funny story. There was a thing that went out. I think they wanted to probe the ability to do another follow-up on Joe or something like that. And they were asking for people to give their testimonies on Joe. And I think there was you sent the email in, and I sent one in long before I started toy tubing. I was just joking about I got tricked into joining the army because I like Joe too much. And I was going to send that in. And that was right around the time I was seeing the classified, and I knew I was going to end up buying one and checking it out, right? So all of that kind of just flows together. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that too. Cobra Crimson Commander, my Triple C brother. That that was a lot of the thinking behind why they weren't going to do it. I also think that was also, what's the word? They weren't going to get taken seriously by dads who weren't going to buy them for their kids if they saw too many of them that weren't colorful and pretty. If they saw them in multitudes of practical roles, they would have had a position on that, either through family values, social values, political values. And we were talking the 80s, right? And if that manipulated a single profit margin, they were in a fine position to just say no, right? I told you, like I said, you didn't see a lot of repaints on there because they knew one was enough to ask one, right? But yeah, now they realize that that market's probably just a bunch of collectors, and maybe 1/5 of that is probably a child going to play with this for the sake of going pew pew pew, right? Most of us are going, don't touch that, leave it in the box, or it's on the shelf, it's going to fall. Oh my God, not the little pistol. But yeah, like they realize that, and they realize like we'll buy a good female figure for a lot of reasons that kids don't buy it. What's that term? It was in the Bible. Thou shalt respect that ass. How many times have you heard somebody pick up a figure? It's a guy you respect. It's a guy you know. It's me. It's somebody else. I don't Ken. It's Aaron. It's I don't know why I said Iron Ken. That's not who I was thinking of. But anyways, any one of us, we pick up a figure. Let's go with Don Marino. There, Don Marino. Sorry. Let's paint's good. This good like kid. It's all right. That asshole. Right? Eventually it comes out. Ever since Helix, I think you've got to brace for it because it's become the conversation topic. Is classified okay with making that ass, right? So, yeah, I think it would be wrong to not admit, in some level, that yes, there's always a different challenge consideration between female and male figure conversion. Sure. I need a driver for one of my RC rigs. I bought Hector Delgado. Oh, shipwreck, yeah. And then I bought another truck, so bought after that. So you bought a truck, and then you got shipwreck to drive it, and then you bought the same truck or another truck, and after that you went. I need another driver now. I'm hooked on the figure line. I think that's how I'm understanding it. Yeah, that's interesting. That'll make a good discussion one night. 3-star, Aaron. You know, what was the line between picking up a figure and buying it to say I really wanted this one figure, and all of a sudden you had the line, right? We know as kids what did that. It was the free part of it, like mom and dad showering. Have a Guido, have a Greedo, have a Hammerhead, have a whatever, Buck Rogers. Take it all, right? But now that you're paying for it, where is that threshold of going, you know what? This is a monthly expense now. Sorry, baby. It's a monthly expense now. Yep. Yeah, I know. No, kid needs braces. That's going to be next year because Classified has come out with a really weird wave this year, dear. You know, where did that line get crossed for you? How many figures did it take? That's a big topic. I like that. I'll put a pin in that for tonight. But something to consider. I know that Aaron's got a really good topic coming up. I know 3-star draw. We had a great time talking the other night, but he's always got another good one in the queue that he doesn't. I'm going to expose a little behind the scenes, right? A little behind the scenes of me and Aaron and 3-star. There you go, guys. This is your little bonus for tonight. Well, another fire is starting over here. Doesn't smell the same, but it's still required to fight it. The other night when we were doing our backyard battlefield there on 3-star Draws channel, and you got to go over there, by the way. And 1, you got to watch that video. And 2, you got to act like I did my job that night. And on that video, you got to be like 3-star, 150, yeah, baby, right? And then we go from there. But on there, did you guys know that after we finished that long ass chat, we stuck around for like another hour or so and just had more long ass great time chat? That's a true dance story. You guys wonder what we're doing. And it was like we were back there in the studio. And this is, you guys will find out if you come do the unplugged dry run kind of crow Crow lives that I'm offering out to some of his, as per that last video. When you go back to the studio, it's just like showgirls, right? So, we got our backs turned to each other, and Aaron's always, prima donna, like he's got the biggest mirror with all the lights and all the fancy lights. And actually, he's got like 4 mirrors he can access on his mirror. Me and 3 Star, we get 2. We get the good one, and then we get the one that zooms right in on your face, but it's a fishbowl. That's tracking so far. All right, you enjoy the chat for a bit. I'll get caught up. I gotta let you guys know what happens in the back studio so that when you get there, because you guys heard me before, I've been hunting these things. The lights have been off when I've shown up. There's been no one there. There's been old pizza left behind from when, like, you knew Aaron went to one of those members only chats with Punk, and they came back there drunk or something and just like left pizza everywhere. And I was like, this is not what it should be with these studios, but. Yeah, so we hung out for about an hour back there. We were talking about some of our ideas. And I do know that there's a difference between how Aaron and 3 Star kind of discuss ideas. And it's like Aaron is very spontaneous, and I get that very much, where it's like an idea and he's almost like sounding it out and communicating it like this. Like, oh my God, I just saw this. Hey, you guys, do you see this? Do you see this? Do you understand, like, in that camper where this could go? Do you see? Because I see it. It's a toilet. We put it in the camper, right? And 3 Star will just stare at it for a little while. And you could be in the room and you just know he's already formulated his idea. And he's somewhere the check mark goes, I should tell the guys about that next week, right? But when we get in those chats together last night, the other night, man, oh my God, were we having a blast, right? And I think it was like 2:00 in the morning by the time I was done with these guys. And I think we were all on the same page, like just one of us, police the others and say, you got to stop, right? Because we're having too much fun. But yeah, that's exactly what it's like in the back studio, guys. It's exactly like Showgirls. You get a little mirror for yourself, and the lights are all over you, and you got to take your makeup off. That was half hour right there. Right, like a half hour. So that was good because we got to talk through that. And what was that stuff you brought, 3 Star? It was like Tennessee 3 Star eye cream. That worked good. Yeah, a whole nother show after that. We talked about the B-sides. Maybe this is the membership chat that we do as you stick around. Yeah, we were talking about that kind of stuff. Aaron's right, man. Yeah, if we didn't have to get up the next morning, right? And that's why I said to the guys tonight, hey, man, by the way, my live might be at the latest part of Saturday morning with G.I. Crow, right? I'll still jump on for an hour. I'll try. So I have this little jar here, like I said, because I find sometimes when you're doing a live, you get so caught up in answering chat and trying to maintain flexible with the flow. You don't do any painting, which you were trying to do. You don't do any of the projects or presentations, which you were trying to do. Right, warning to the guys going live, but you're having fun, but you feel guilty that you aren't doing it, so you go back to it every 2 seconds, and then you act like you're getting back into it. Then you put it down, and you go, I'm going to catch up on the chat. It was creek mud. I knew that because of the little dead crayfish, but I was like, man, he brings the greatest. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. Yeah, because we sit there and smoke and do all that stuff, right? Like, yeah, I mean, we're just normal people around here, guys. And if you don't like that in the chat, that's fine. But don't tell my mom, okay? Because, we're trying to keep a certain presence about ourselves so that we can all serve the community better and help opening doors to each other, not close them, because the guys are like, he lost control of the fire, and we saw him with the fire, and we could smell the fire in the Google chat rooms with our viral equipment. Like, I don't need that. I'm gonna go tend to that fire. But Aaron's absolutely right. The fun we had back there, but also you get wind of where people's mindsets are. Like, do we know things that are coming to each other's channels? Absolutely. Would we ever talk about that though? No, right? That's one of the things we talk about on, man, I wish there was a roadmap that would just lay this out in simple print, right? Because do you think somebody once somewhere did that to somebody at some point? Absolutely they did, right? Oh my God, your mom does, eh? Yeah, because I know how much Aaron and I have a lot in common. I'm just going to Just gonna go over there. Come up when doing a live stream. Yeah, sorry. We'll clarify a bit of live stream there. Just gotta tell you, I had a theory about this, and I was right. So Aaron and I have a lot of similarities, and one of them is like just the way we were kind of raised by single moms and dads that weren't really, you know, it is good that they weren't in the picture kind of deal, and I'll leave it at that, right? It's not that kind of a show right now. But our respect for our mom goes deep, right? Like Aaron is also a very firm martial artist. And jiu-jitsu, I think it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu and probably a few others. A lot of training and grappling and things like that. So if Aaron says a comment like this, where he says, "Don't tell my mom, she'll kick my ass," that's because Aaron, there's a lot of people Aaron could probably take, but Aaron's mom puts one hand on him and he's going to be like a soft little kitten when you grab him by the scruff of the neck, or a little puppy dog when you grab him by the scruff of the neck and take him back to the dog nest, right? The bird nest, the cat nest, the dog nest, right? They go limp. And I can see Aaron going limp. And you know why I can see Aaron going limp? Because I've seen how Missy just gets him like this. Aaron, it's time to come to bed. Like I said, 3 married with children. Ow! And Aaron, I seen it. Missy grabs you by the back of the neck and says, "Enough is enough. It's time for my will to be done." And you be like, "Yes, ma'am." So no doubt your mother. Hang on, guys. I got to get my lamp plugged back in because I had to plug the phone back in so I can keep things rolling. And I got so many plugs, guys, and that's the problem. I don't like the garage because I have one outlet. I have 95 different devices, right? What's going on here? Okay, so here we go. Let's answer a question from Cobra Commander because it seems like he's getting some info out of here and he wants some more. So let's give him some professionals here. Professionals meaning, the guys that are just ready to go all the time with the brothers here. And guys, Aaron and 3-Star, I'm sorry I didn't send out invites. This was very improv tonight, and I really didn't want to interrupt anything else to anybody doing or tempt them to walk away from a good time by tempting them for a live that they had no idea about prior, right? So, but we are working on that structure. So, when doing a live stream, does it stream on both channels? I'm trying to think of how mine shows up when I'm on Aaron's. I have to go to Aaron's channel. It doesn't show up on mine. But I think Aaron, there's an option, I think, somewhere in the many different StreamYard options and levels of membership, I think, that allows that to occur, co-streaming from 2 different channels on that same live. But I don't think Aaron and 3-Star and I have that. If you guys know in the comments, let me know. There we go. There we go. Right? Look how quick all this information gets passed on. There we go. Power of the Force stuff. Yeah, so I'm working on some too, guys. You know what the benefit of a nice spontaneous live is? Fire! Is you get a little window in insights into some stuff that maybe I'm not making videos about, or maybe I've made 5 videos about, but I haven't downloaded them to YouTube because, like you guys talk about, sometimes you're not feeling confident about it and you get frustrated. You guys know I'm doing C3POA. I'm doing a different kind of approach to my review. And I've talked about that. You guys got some hints with that stupid little Joe play, Joe 97, but is anybody picking up the kind of theme I was doing this? Because this is just me splashing on the paint and then I do the details after. Does anybody have a theory on what that is right now? Because I'm just trying to see, am I leaving it vague and dark enough? Am I getting enough of the image across right now? Because it's just one of many props I have to do this week for my video. So it's here only on this live that I would entertain somebody theorizing what that particular is referencing or anything like that. And it's anything you want. You can sit there and say it's the ghost of Christmas past, and he rides around on 3-Star's vamp, and I'll be like, that's a very good guess, right? And meanwhile, in the Dr. Blurman's residence, Figures are bleeding out of the sky, like just raining down on him. And tonight he's opening some frivolous NECA last Ronin figs. They were crunching beneath his heel and annoying him and his pile of figures. There we go. And I'm here soothing his soul in the background. And that soothing, it doesn't matter what I'm saying, does it, Woody? You're just happy to have NECA figures, and you know we're jealous, you son of a bitch. Oh man, Last Ronin. I just watched JLS's breakdown of Last Ronin. He just put out a new video on that explains what all that is. I only got about 5 minutes in, and then I had to go and do some stuff. I gotta finish that, man. But that Last Ronin's a very cool concept to see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles take after all this time. I'm glad they didn't take it like midway through their popularity. And the NECA, I have never heard a conversation about the figures we love where NECA was involved and somebody goes, it's just like Super 7, it's a huge disappointment, not worth the price. They just say that the price is there, right? So it's awesome. Yeah, that'd be all right. Yeah. What's that? No, those are the only NECA figure because they're turtles. All right. Woody's got a soft spot for turtles. Hey, you know what you learn about people around here, by the way? I gotta scroll limitedly through the chat or I can't move this thing alone. 16. I've been going. Look at me roll. This is so much fun, right, guys? See you guys live is fun. If you take it easy, it's fun. Yeah, sorry. Do you know you learn certain things about these guys if you kind of just open the door and go, hey man, we're all friends here, right? We're not in competition with each other. You know what I learned about hashtag May POTF? So I'm gonna say it like an army guy. It's May. Okay. Hashtag May Papa Oscar Tango Foxtrot. Who? Right. Okay, good. No, May Power of the Force. In all the conversations that are that, you know what trickled out of there, like rattling a little pebble out of your shoe at the end of the day? May 1st is Triple C's birthday. Just putting it out there. The things you learn when you jump in on a live, right? Yeah. Here we go. So, yeah, the 47 Ronins, there's a lot of respects and parallels I've heard were paid to things and references. And it's not the first time we've seen that in comics. I collected a really cool, I think it was Dark Horse, or I can't remember who put out Dark Horse, SHI, the Japanese kabuki assassin that was popular in the 90s, and I think it was just the 90s. But there was a series that they did, and it was based on the Art of War, and they just kind of did recaps in this 6-issue series. I think it was 6 issues, maybe it was 3 or 2, and it was all just a reprint comic version of like the lessons of the Art of War, or one of the other great war guidebooks of the ancient Japanese rulers and whatnot. Where do I think I'm going to dip my toe? Yeah, I've already covered that one. Is Grievance in the chat? Oh my goodness, is he? 45, bro. Oh, 45 was a wonderful age. My God, I remember it like it was so recently, you know. It was a wondrous time. It was before the world had changed in COVID, and you could have a birthday party, and my mom would bring a cake and unwrap it. No, I can't go anywhere with that. 45 sucks. Okay, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It does. Okay. It's what you make of it. It absolutely is. But the average age of my friends that tell me exactly when their body fell apart, exactly when their body fell apart, 45, right? So for me, 45 was, I think, when the tinnitus kicked in, and when the arthritis in the shoulder started really kicking in, and then 46 for the knees, right? So, hey, buddy, I hope your 45th birthday, your 45th year, and everything after is way better, man. I hope it's a great time, and you've got a new batch of friends that are, probably going to make it a lot better every year, right? So there we go. Turkish Murphy 50. Bro, yes. All right. Who else do we have cracking? Go ahead, boys. Everybody who cracked a milestone within the last week here, and I know there's a few of you, everybody who's on the brink of cracking a milestone within the give or take an acceptable smaller number, put it up there right now. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. And you can carry on with the other discussion. I just want you to go. I want you to brag. Give yourself that little pat on the back. Allow us to do the same for a moment. Do I think it's something that should happen over every other milestone? No, but you'll get used to it. And when you have these little milestones, guys, it's fine. It's good. It's healthy, right? It's just don't put all the weight into them. That's all. Don't sit there and say by October 31st and no later, I will have 500 subscribers. I will be monetized, and I will have a guest spot on a real live TV commercial talking about this product with Hasbro's permission, right? And then if it doesn't happen, you put a gun in your mouth like that. That's not serving anybody, right? Are we talking birthdays or subscribers now? Yeah, I've seen where that's going, right? Yeah, there, Grievance. All right, Grievance and I talked, JM, right? I believe that was right. So Grievance, as you guys know, he was the champion, final man standing in a, they train forever, but in the end, the dice just did what dice do, and I don't know why I worked it up that bad, but yeah, he won, and good for him. And again, thank you again for my friend Jay for understanding where the conflict of interest lies and for accepting my counter offer, because that allowed both these two guys, Maximilian Studios with his Night Force espionage agent traded by Casa by Chuckles, and then of course Grievance, who won with his Crimson Gunfighter Heavy Duty Guy. I'm gonna get the full write up because I only gave these guys 3 sentences to work with. Like, that was at all fair, right? But the key words that go with this guy that really caught, I think, vision, attention, and morbid curiosity more than anything when he won was Frank Castle. And so, like, things like, hey, Grievance, you're on a live right now. This is a great place to talk about it. When you picture Frank Castle, and I know you have a lot of Frank Castle variants on your shelf. I've seen your pictures that you showed me. When you picture your Frank Castle conversion, what kind of Frank are we talking about? Are we talking about a comic book Frank Castle? Are we talking about the old school Frank Miller kind of Sin City look kind of Frank Castle, beat the crap? Are we talking about John Barenthal Frank Castle from the Daredevil stuff on Netflix, now Disney Plus? Did you want Thomas Jane Frank Castle? Did you want the lesser known popularity, I guess, War Journal Frank Castle movie? Like, we're gonna hash all this out. I have a long list of questions, but that one came on right off the top of my head because where I'm at in my battle procedure right now is I'm letting in my battle procedure, and I'm gonna do something about that particular word in the lesson one day. But in that right now, I'm kind of in my warning order and recce phase, like quick estimates and whatnot, seeing what parts I have that I can resource for a good bunch of sketches and ideas to kind of go with, and then where I have to order parts from guys like Loki Wartooth, or source them, or try and find shit in the wild, or maybe buy another figure just to rip an arm off. I don't know, right? That's the fun of it. But let's start with the head. Oh man, this is really hard to keep up with the chat, but yeah. So there's talk about welding. You still need to make a Tiger Force cover girl, buddy. Yeah, so I wish I knew enough on what's out there right now to do videos on where to source materials. I got really lucky with our friend Loki Wartooth kind of just showing up in the subscriber base and putting out the offer, and it all worked out. And I never had to kind of take more swings at resourcing 3D printed heads and parts to really learn what that market actually looks like, right? Me and Aaron and others found a mutually beneficial arrangement with Loki at times, and then we saw that it was worth going back and spending some cash with this guy, and that's what we've done, right? And I'm fixing to do the next order anytime. In fact, I think we've settled on what that is, and we're getting ready to go very soon. But who else is out there? I don't know. But when it comes to that CoverGirl head, I've seen a lot of Black Widow from Marvel Legends series being used. People seem to like a few different variants of the Scarlett Johansson or the traditional comic Russian Soviet short, old 60s styled hair Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, original characters. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but the thing I would warn you, as you probably learned when you did that Flint conversion that you have there, if you guys aren't following, I'm sitting on photos and I really got to get that pushed out. I keep having to prioritize things. I do have a subscriber video I've been meaning to push out. It's a file right now. Some of them have the writing on them, some of them don't yet. And I was trying to get one flashed of some of these pictures these subscribers send. And Cobra Crimson Commander, I think it was back when you were Crimson Mater 07, if I remember that name right. He did one of Tiger Force Flint, but he did it with other heads and whatnot. So you know the difficulty with just fixing CoverGirl's head is that that ball joint, right? It is a pain in the ass. That whole neck system for CoverGirl, it's very specific. So Loki Wartooth, buddy. Loki Wartooth, yeah. Okay, so Turkish Murphy's working on some bike frames. Yeah, we have a vote to go with John Barenthal's Punisher. Sorry, guys, I'm just seeing if my chat's correcting or not. Still 15 of you out there, eh? Hey, guys, I think, yeah, wow, that's incredible. Everybody's having a late night tonight. Friday night party, right? But yeah, that's the thing I wanted to kind of start with was what's my idea, at least about the head sculpt. When it comes to making Frank Castle over to a Cobra Crimson soldier of any type, perfectly achievable. You know, and you start working the brain cannon. Aaron, the brain cannon, how does this fit? 3-star comics, how does it fit? How would it come to pass in a comic book? Oh my God, there's another fire. How would it come into pass in a comic book? Kind of explanation. For those of us that read the comics or have started to take an interest in the comics or just like the idea of an expanded universe and input, how would it come to pass that Frank Castle would ever show up in a Joe universe? Well, it's perfectly explainable. JLS has explained it more than once on a couple of videos. And you guys hear me making a lot of references to JLS because, man, I wish I had thought of that show first, but I wouldn't even know where to begin getting the knowledge base this guy has. But of course, he will tell you that the G.I. Joe universe and the Marvel universe exist in the same place in a lot of dimensions, right? If we were to take this current Disney multiverse nonsense, yeah, brainwave scanner. There we go. Always have a brainwave scanner, right? Or Zartan. Yeah, every time, right? But yeah, the big thing. Sorry, I'm just getting caught up. Oh, I want to talk to you about that. You know what, Legend? I've been meaning to talk to you. I don't know if you've seen my video about lives, but you and I have very similar milestones behind us right now. So maybe you and I should one day talk. But I don't know. Like I said, maybe guys really know a lot about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that I don't, but I do know. I think you had asked me which van, maybe you hadn't, but somebody asked me what vehicle these two Mad Dogs I'm working on are. I have lost whatever point I was going to close out. There was a fire I had to tend to. There we go. Sorry, Legend. I think you or maybe it was somebody else, and I'm just old and confused because I'm senile and whatever. That's what that was. I've got that right here for you, bud. I can tell you what year and what line it was. Sorry, my tablet's just right in the middle of this fire I got to blow on. Hang on. Yeah. Bear with me. I had a whole slideshow from a an episode I didn't make about these turtle vehicles because you mentioned something you're working on, and I'm mad because I haven't been able to find it over here, and the one that I did find was the wrong scale. But that turtle van is something I'm trying to find on my thrift finds on top of a Fang helicopter of a specific design that a certain somebody blessed me with in a challenge. But the turtle van, I'm curious. Like, there's the movie Turtle Van, which I have no idea how that scales on a 6-inch figure line. I don't know if these were 6.5 or 4. There's this one, which is not my most favorite design, but I think it's also that one. I'm working with this one right now. I have that, started. It's down in the basement, so I can minimize. But the one you were talking about is this one, okay? And yeah, that's the top that's supposed to go on the back of these. And that's what that whole apparatus that I removed. It had a lifting mechanism platform with a ladder here, but it didn't have that dome piece. I kind of wish it had, but when you buy things at thrift stores for, $2.99, $3.99, I think this was probably $6.99, both of them, maybe I got them cheap, cheaper than that. They're going to be missing a lot of parts, right? But when I saw them, what I saw was turtle vehicles on average, because of the bulk of the turtle figure with that shell and that exaggerated bowed leg design and arms and exaggerated heads, and then the scale, whatever margin of height scale is often compensated by enough width scale that somehow they more than just enough overcompensate for the room of the figure that the two classified fit in here. And I'll show you this now. I don't know if I've ever shown this to you guys in an adequate picture. What a fortunate night for anyone curious about this vehicle. There we go. Yeah. Did I miss something from Grievance? You got 2 of these. Okay. Yeah, Crow and Chill. Yeah. That's what Crow's doing. Crow is chilling and crowing and chilling with the chilled. So let's grab a figure here. Let's something that I know is bendier because I've at least worked it in because a lot of just new figures are here. You know what? Let's grab those barfly locals there, Zorana for one, because I think one should be a female. Just so you can see kind of the balance of how they fit. And I would normally just grab the next one next to her, but that would be Sergeant Slaughter, and he's a bit of a more larger example. So I think for the sake of interest, he's pretty common in my collection these days. Pretty common. He's been cloned clear. They were dealing with a clone saga and ninjas and all this other shit in G.I. Joe. But Duke, one of many Dukes we've seen, just came back from the 12th Duke week. So we'll say Duke wants to drive a mean dog. Clear some table space and bring it down. This is going to kill a minute or two. And guys, I'm going to probably end this chat soon. Maybe not immediately, but I am expected to. I'm going to jump on for a quick one tomorrow because I know a lot of guys didn't know this one was on, and guys like Jay and D-Mac and whatnot, they deserve some respect and notice. If they're going to be my subscribers, they've got the notifications on, and if this one was on after they went to bed, well, that's not me doing my part, right? So I'll just move this over here, and we'll put Zorana in the passenger seat. I did this because Zorana is one of my female figures with enough pliability in the legs and everything like that, but when I move her arms, they fall off, so I find she's considerate for when I have space issues. It's not a quality control issue. It's a considerate figure, right? You can make a silver lining wherever you want if you got enough paint, guys. There's Duke. Which Duke are you? It doesn't matter, sir. That's right. It doesn't matter. The new one's out and everybody loves him. They don't love you, Tiger Force Duke. They love the other one. I'll get my revenge. I will be the most convertible figure they'll ever see. I know. That's why all the Vipers are made into you. What? It's true. Shut up. No, it's true. All right. And he goes. I do have to do a little angle with his legs a little tricky. the logic being is that the brake is thumb controlled, and so is the gas, and so is everything else that the feet should be controlling. But these in there, and clickety click, part of a trick, and you can see the appropriate amount of head clearance that protects them from scraping paint, makes room for some bump helmets if some of them are wearing that. And again, now you understand, if I put Sergeant Slaughter or Gung Ho or a larger figure in there, maybe that would compromise it, but that's this clearance space you got. So it was a good truck, and finding it at the bare bones, yeah, it's good to go, right? So, yeah, Ross, Skull Rogan. Okay, guys, like I said earlier in the thing, some of these subscriber things that are going on, I can show you really quickly some of the pictures I haven't doctored around with to write on and whatnot. I just gotta find the album quickly, but I get some vehicle conversions, and actually, it's good that they mentioned it because hang on, let me just. Why is it laid out like this? While I search for that, I'll tell you that was one that I showed today, today or yesterday, just in passing. I just gotta find my subs one here, and it uses something that I think it was you actually, Roman, that sent me. I have so many of these folders I've got to delete. Do any of you guys have that problem where you like do all your stuff on a tablet to get a show ready and you just don't delete it after because you're worried it might come up again? I don't know. Okay, let me just try this. So I'm just gonna go into my emails and find yours, buddy. Or wait, and celebrities, pro backgrounds, gun backgrounds. One more minute there, guys. I know I just had that file up because I was pulling pictures out of it to write on. Because that's the thing, I don't want to show the pictures of the things and then forget to put the people who made them somewhere on that slide, right? So that's kind of one thing that takes me forever because I don't like editing. Fuck all. Hold on. Where is my substance? Okay, no, I'm just gonna find yours, but yeah, the Halo quad, I believe, was one of yours, right? Hang on, Roman. Roman, was the Halo quad one of yours? I think it was, wasn't it? Yours is it usually has the wooded background. Let's go Gmail. Oh my goodness, I must be getting tired. Where's my Gmail? Because I want to call up that quad to see if it's the same one that I just got broken and got so cheap. We'll go Roman. There we go. Yeah, okay. So I just got to go back a few with you, back through the days, because Roman's been sending me nonstop. This is some of Roman Graham's work, guys. Sorry, I'm not going to do this for everyone. And Triple C, you're showing a lot of stuff, but I don't get many opportunities to talk about Roman and what his shelf actually looks like. Roman's shelf is actually super inspirational to me because it is a very good wooded feature, and I see a lot of familiar things that remind me of my days, in the training areas. Fire, squirrel, what? Listen, I gotta deal with this. That's going good. But yeah, Roman, I don't think I ever really respond enough to him. He did a Lady J custom as well. It's in there. He did his version of Lady J. He's got some Valorverse in here. I am going to show his stuff, but there's one it's way back. I know it is because it's one of the first ones he ever sent. He's got a Halo quad, and I think it's the same one I've got. He sent me so much, guys. Yeah, there's the bike. Yeah, so I'm getting closer. Oh, whatever, it's my life. I'll monopolize the time. What are you going to do? Leave? Go to bed? Get on with your life? And I'm supposed to hate on you for that? No. No. We should all do that soon anyway. But, okay, that's a different quad. Maybe it wasn't your quad. Maybe it was somebody else's. I thought for sure it was yours. Nonetheless, I'll just jump to the chase. There's so many great photos from him. And any of the ones that you see with the wooded background and their figures are looking nice and clean, tactical. That's a lot like me. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys are keeping that chat going and keeping it to the things you guys like to chat about, not necessarily what I'm rambling about. Legend series. One thing I would tell you guys is There's another guy I just started following called G.I. Joe and Beards. Or Beards and G.I. Joe. Anybody hear of him? Anybody following him? Well, I pulled down that ATV wherever I put it. I think it's G.I. Joe and Beards. What's this? Legend says it's going to go live on Sunday with the van. Yes, please. I want to see which van you got and hear your feedback on where you thought the real challenges were with it, or did you think there was none, or did you create challenges to manipulate it further? I'm interested in that for sure. It's weird, but as far as conversion work goes, and yeah, maybe that's part of the end state brain canon excuse making, but I found turtle vehicles are very versatile for a few different ideas. You know, they can be the Rex, they can be the future, they can be the past. They just can't be real, right? They've got to be some creative variant of it, but there's a lot of craftsmanship gone into some of these. And I do find a lot of those accessories, you can get them off. You can take them off. All right. So yeah, the Halo thing, I gotta keep on track. I'm getting tired, and I was gonna get on about Beards and Joe's. Beards and Joe's is a guy that I've started following. He seems a lot like me. Like he's got a definite ad hoc, red green show for us Canadians that know what that is. Take it or leave it kind of lifestyle, like sort of approach to the show. He's super knowledgeable, super passionate about the O-ring collection he has, and he's doing a lot of content about his hunt for more exclusive, like convention vehicles and stuff like that. But one of the things I got a kick out of was he's one of the higher echelon people for the company that we have come to know, and I think is Dollar Tree, which is where I got these jet skis from that I do the Night Force conversions for them. I put some in a package for a friend that's owed many, many favors that can never be returned in kind. And I gave some in the 350 prize contest there. And I'm still, until boxes are sent, I'm still intending on picking up a few more because that store is not restocked and I need kayaks and I'm going to go to his house and get them. No, but just guy, I was just curious. Has anybody been watching him at all? Never heard of him, eh? Triple C? I'll look him up right now, Crow. I only watched a bit of his videos, and like I said, that's the overview synopsis that I had. But when I think he showed up under a conversion stream that I was going through, like just a vein of conversion figure videos as I was painting, and his come on. And when I heard he was, up there in the decision-making management types of Dollar Tree, I was like, you, sir, may very well know what it's like to think like a lot of us here when we do conversions, because some of the most surprising conversion shit I've found has been at places like Dollar Tree of all places, and places like Dollarama have toys that other people would never put in a store like that, right? So it's just like kind of be an interesting person to talk to at some point. But listen, hey guys, how many of you? 11 left. Oh. That's like 12 more than I expected right now. I'm going to call it for the night. Now, I know one of you that I've been talking to off to the side. Maybe it was Aaron. Maybe it was 3-Star. Maybe it was someone else. But I was talking to about this whole dry run live concept and just other channels going out of their way to visit other channels for a bit and just having an unplugged session with me, letting me run a talk show my way. And I wanted to clarify one thing, and I'm kind of glad I'm going to end on this because it is important, and I should have clarified it before. One of the things I am not going to do with a show like that is I'm not going to put you under a microscope, and I'm not going to ask you, all the questions from childhood to now, all the textbook questions that you deserve having asked to you by probably somebody in a much better interview environment on YouTube. Mine's an amateur. I'm calling it a dry run. I'm treating it that way. This is just for the mental approach to relaxing more than anything. All right. So that's my way of saying there is a much better show a much stronger and sustainable show in this nature in what we know Punk does with Thursdays with a Friend. I am not going to mirror that. I am going to stay away from that kind of exposure. What I'm going to do is just things like, hey, man, what about this show, this thing? What was your opinion of that? How does that apply to random weird questions, okay? But nothing overly exposing unless there's something really burning that you feel needs to be talked about immediately and it's that caliber. But even then, I'm going to give you my advice, my honest advice on maybe that's the one you premiere your channel with on your stream, right? This is all practice. So I just want to make sure that that's all clearly understood. What my intent is to do it that way. That is a dry run. And what my end state is, and that's where the term end state comes from. It's a military term from our orders that describes what we are prepared to do next after our current mission is done. What does that look like? If we say, okay, I understand your intent, I understand your scheme of maneuver, how you're going to do it. So what's your end state look like? And then you say, well, my end state looks like all my soldiers back, safe, rested, fuel and ammo replenished, and we're ready for follow-on tasks, sir. Right? And that's your end state. That's a neutral, ready to go, flexible end state, right? So when my brain cannon comes out and I say this is my end state, what I'm actually saying is it's not my end state. It's my Cobra Commander's end state, right? I joked about the red mist. I can't keep the red mist off my mind, but that's what the end state term comes from. If anyone ever wondered, somebody did ask at some point. So there you go, guys. You have the intent. You have my scheme of maneuvering. You have my end state. What's my mission? Have a good time. So let's go do that. I'll see you guys probably just before noon at some point or around noon tomorrow for just a quick, more purposeful, Joe relevant, quick live or whatever you guys want to do. It's all good. See you then. Thanks very much. And we'll see you soon. Don't forget, everybody in the chat, 90% of them have a channel. Go check out the ones we've been talking about and follow along and learn who these guys are. All right. We'll see you soon. Oh, God, that's not how you turn off StreamYard. That is not how you turn off StreamYard.